Hey folks, Jack with River Cat Blues. Been a while since I put a video out. Kind of messed up. I haven't been able to do any fishing for a long time now, but it's getting closer to being good. I am going to get out on the water as soon as I can, but I've still got several weeks that I can't do anything. But enough of that. I'm going to try to do this video as much as I can with one hand. I can do a little bit with this one, but I can't pick anything up or twist anything hard. Not yet, anyway. What I'm going to do today is we're going to set some drags on some catfish reels. And I know to some of you that sounds like, well, I set my drags. You just grab the line here and you pull it and you're going to set your drag. Or a lot of them come up and grab right here like I did. Pull the drag and you're going to set it and you're going to guess at it. It's worked for years. Ain't had no issues. But been doing some reading, and some of these lines, like Shimano is recommending to set your drag between 25% and 33% of the line tension break, I guess the breaking point is what I should say. How strong your line is. Like a 50 pound, let's say you had a 50 pound line, they're saying set your strike zone, in other words, your drag, somewhere between 25 and 33% of that 50 pound breaking strength. I don't know. I mean, that's just what they've recommended. I've did some research on some of this stuff, and a lot of the guys, especially your big saltwater fishermen, set their drags between 25 and 33%. Now, it's hard to judge what you're doing when you're just grabbing your line and you're pulling it and you're saying, it pulls off and you're like, that's enough, I'm good. And I have been, like you guys, most of you that never really set your drags by the book, have been good for years. Not an issue. But I guess there could be an issue if you did set it wrong and you could break your line, or maybe you don't have it set hard enough and it doesn't turn that circle hook and get into that tooth patch behind it and get into the bone or whatever. I'd rather have it set too light than too heavy, because you for sure don't want to break it. But I'm going to show you what I do to set these drags properly. We're going to use a spring scale. They recommend a spring scale. This one, when you pull it, this comes down and it'll set wherever you're at, and then you know what you've done when you back off. It stays wherever the poundage breaks over. So I would recommend a scale like this, not necessarily a Rapala, although I've not had an issue with this one, but they make several spring scales like this. So let's get started. I'm going to do the best I can with one arm. Let's see how this goes. Okay, I'm going to show you the first setup here. I'm just using a little 4-foot 6-inch stand-up rod. It's a really stout little rod. I'm going to use this rod to set the drags. First reel we're going to have up is an Abbott Raptor HX. I have 80-pound braid on here, but the leaders I'm using are 60 pounds. I do have some 80, but I've been using 60 pounds. So I want to try to set this with the 60-pound mono leader. Now this particular reel is maxed drag at 50 pounds, which is way too much drag in my opinion, but this reel goes to 50 pounds, so we ain't gonna be close to doing none of that. And this is also a lever drag. This is a lever drag reel, which I have a lot of star drags, so this is gonna be a little different for me too with this lever drag. But let's try this one out and see what happens. All right, folks, I got this one set up. Got the spring scale on it. Just got a swivel tied onto there, 2/0 swivel. I kind of guessed at it on setting on the lever drag. We're going to see where we're at right here. All right, so I'm going to put this back on. We're going to crank it back up. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful with this. And we're going to set it a little more, about 3 clicks with the lever drag. See where this is at. Okay, that's getting close to about 12 pounds. Now, I'm not going to set this probably real high. Some of my reels only have a max of 15-pound drag that I'm using anyway. So I probably will set this one around maybe 14 pounds or so. That's right there. Maybe too much, I don't know. That's pretty heavy. Pretty darn heavy there. See where we're at here. Well, a little bit over 12 maybe. I don't know if I want to go much heavier than that. I think I'm going to leave it right there. 13, I think it's right about 13, right in that area. Now this is the strike. This is, you can always increase it if you need to after the strike. But when he takes it over, he should start strip and drag at around 13 pounds on this. And of course that I'm using a real heavy rod. So if you're using a lighter rod, it's going to bend way farther over, which may help. I'm sure it would maybe, as it comes down, it might help give you more than your 13 pounds. But I don't want to set these real heavy. I just don't. I know I'm not at, well, let's see, 33% of 50 pounds. You know what? I may have a book that shows that. A Shimano book might show that. Let me look in there. If it does, I'll show you guys. All right, folks, here's what's in the book. I got a little shadow going on, but I think you can read it. There's the 25 to 33%. So right there, example for 50-pound test, the drag should be between 12.5 and 17 pounds. All right, guys, I've switched to another reel. This is an Abu Garcia 7000. And this is a star drag. So we're going to try this out and see what we can get. Now the max drag, I believe, on these, according to Abu Garcia, is right around 20 pounds max drag. We're not going anywhere near that. I'd like to stay right around 12 pounds, 13 pounds max. All right, guys, we're hooked up to it. Let's see where we're at. I guessed at it again. See how close I am. I don't know, that felt pretty easy. Yeah. Right around 8 pounds or so. I made a little bit of an adjustment on the star drag. See what happens. No, I'm not setting the clickers or anything. Yeah, that's maybe really close to 10. Let's go a little more. A little bit more here. Hard to do with one hand. I kind of just barely put my hand here, and then I got to twist this with one hand. In fact, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to lean into it and twist it. All right. See where we're at now. Got it all set. See where we're at now. Real close to 11 maybe. I'm not going to do this for every reel. I'm not going to show you every reel, but we are going to set a few up here. Go a little bit more. It's hard to do one hand. All right, we're going to try that. Hopefully we're getting closer. That one felt a little harder. Yeah. We're real close right there. Pretty close to 12. Now if you pull this without this scale, if you just use your hand, it is a lot harder. And it feels really, really heavy. So in other words, if you were just setting this, let me turn the clicker on for this, just to show you guys. So if you were just trying to set this without a scale, just guessing at it, you gotta pull it hard. I mean, it feels like way more than 12 pounds. You don't realize how much 12 pounds is when you get the bend of the rod and everything. It's a lot. I mean, I think that's good right there. It is for me. Let's switch reels. All right, folks. I've switched the reels again. We have a Seagate. You can see that. Seagate. It's a Daiwa. It's a 40. Conventional reel. Let's set the drag on this one and see where we're at. Go and put the clicker on for the heck of it. All right, I guessed at this one, pulling by my hand. See how close I am here. I tried to set it a little bit heavier, but kind of getting the hang of it, I think. $10, right about 10 or so. Like I said, you just push this back up there and it's ready to go. These are pretty neat little scales. All right. Wish I could use this a little more, but I just better not. Let's see if we can set this one with one hand. It's hard to do with one hand. I want to grab it. Let's try 3 clicks and see where that's going to put us. All right, here we go. Oh, jeez, that's too much. That's too much. 3 clicks was too much. Let's back it off. Let's try right there. Let's try right there. Now I think these Seagates are right around 20 pounds, 19 point something. I believe officially 19 point something on the drag. We'll see what I got here. That's pretty good pull right there. Like I said, that rod's stiff and I'm bending her over pretty good. Let's see where we're at here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Real close to 12. Real close to 12 right there. I think I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to try it by hand again. Try to get a feel for this. Maybe I'll get the next reel set up a little closer even. It's hard to do with your hand, and I'm pulling so hard. It's hard to believe that a fish can just rip it off like it's nothing, and I've seen it happen. So we all have. All right. Let's switch reels and try again. All right, folks. This is the last reel I'm going to do. This is a Saltist 40 level wine. I've got a 50-pound test mono on this. Let's give this a shot. All right, folks. I'm going to hook this one up. I'm going to put the clicker on. Just keep wanting to grab stuff with this, but I better not. Alright, let's see how this works. Well, I thought I guessed at that one pretty good, but I don't think I did. What are we at? Maybe about 10 again. About 10. All right, let's move it. Let's move it. I'm gonna go about right there. Let's see how that does. I don't know. I really don't know. To me, I mean, I've fished for I don't know how many years. And, my dad took me when I was a little bitty. Kind of little now, but, But anyway, we just grabbed it like everybody else does and just, you rip the drag off and you're like, I'm good. And you are most of the time. I mean, like I said, I've never had an issue. I'm sure most of you have never had an issue doing it. Just guessing and ripping it off by hand, like, yeah, that's good, I'm going. Sometimes you don't even set it till you're there. I just don't know how technical I want to get with this, but I mean, I am going to do it because I did a lot of reading, and they say that's the proper way to set them. So, I do want to be proper. I guess, I don't know. Anyway, I guess it wouldn't hurt anything to set them like this. There we go. That's probably pretty close. Probably pretty close. Oh yeah, that's over. That felt a little heavy. That's over a little bit. I think I am going to back that off. But I'm just going to back it off one click and probably won't even use the scale here. So we'll set that down. I'll go ahead and see if I can back this off. One click. And let's see how that feels by the hand. I'm just grabbing the swivel. Oh, good enough for me. I don't know. Let's take the clicker off. Like I said, this is very technical to me. I'm a catfisherman, not a precision saltist, marlin, tuna, maybe someday, but not right now. So it's just, I just don't know how technical I really want to get with this. I think I'm done. But this is supposed to be the proper way to set your drags with the scale, and that scale cost me like $18. It ain't much. I've got a bunch of reels. Will I set them all with that? Yeah, probably not. But I'm going to set a few of them, and I'm going to try them out and see. So you take it however you want to take it. You can keep setting them by the way I set them. Just set it. Or you can get you a scale and try the technical way. I don't know. I know one thing. I'm ready to go fishing. This has to heal, and quick. Everybody keep doing what you're doing out there. Everybody keep on fishing. And rods down, people. Rods down. Boom!